Ready to go? All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, the November 14th, 2022 first meeting of the Dauphin City Council. Before we get started, I'd like to read an acknowledgement that we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. I'd like to now start with our first motion moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular Council meeting agenda as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? All that carried. Our next agenda item 3A, moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, our regular Council meeting of October 17th, 2022. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Agenda item 5.A-B, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5, consent agenda, be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. So the consent agenda includes action items, proclamation regarding Domestic Violence Awareness Month. To read that proclamation. Whereas domestic violence is prevalent across all ethnic, racial, age, social, and economic groups and occurs regardless of marital status or sexual orientation. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter opened its doors in Dauphin on October 31st, 1992 to provide alternatives to violent living for women and their children fleeing domestic abuse and/or family violence. And whereas through the provision of emergency shelter, counseling, education, and advocacy, Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter strives to empower abuse survivors to make positive life changes. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter provides safe emergency residential shelter services to over 900 women and their children experiencing domestic or family violence, and receives approximately 1,400 crisis line calls. And whereas the City of Dauphin commends the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter and other public and private entities that strive to end the cycle of violence in homes and communities across the Parkland. Now therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Dated at the City of Dauphin in the province of Manitoba, this 14th day of November, 2022. Be it resolved that Council proclaims November 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The next proclamation, Municipal Government Awareness Week. Proclamation reads, whereas community participation in municipal elections is important, and whereas community involvement in local government decision-making is essential to a healthy democratic system, and whereas community understanding of municipal government operations and the services it provides is of primary importance to meaningful participation at the local level. Now therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 21st to 25th, 2022 as Municipal Government Awareness Week, dated at the City of Dauphin in the province of Manitoba, this 14th day of November, 2022. Other items is recommended by the Mayor and the City Manager that outstanding water bill accounts be added to taxes. Be it resolved, following water meter accounts be added to taxes. Those amounts equal to $307.40 as recommended by the Director of Finance and the utility clerk. We have a number of filing items. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities, the 2022 AMM Fall Convention, the 2021 AMM Minutes and Financial Statements, the October 2022 Parkland Directors Update. We have news bulletins from October 28th, 2022 and November 10th, 2022. We have a news release, AMM welcomes 45% first-time officials, and a number of member advisories of the Executive Committee election, of the 2022 Council Members Guide, and the 2022 Cabinet Brief and Municipal Government Awareness Week. We have a number of items from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, FCM Connect, bulletins from October 18th, October 25th, November 1st, November 7th, November 8th, and November 9th of 2022. The FCM Voice, October 17th, October 24th, October 31st, and November 7th of 2022. The FCM Marketplace of October 24th, 2022, and the FCM Climate of November 3rd, 2022. We also have the Manitoba Municipal Administrators Code of Conduct Council training, and a number of Manitoba news releases, the Municipal Relations New First Responder Training Structure, the Labor, Consumer Protection and Government Services Accelerate Adoption of 2020 Standards, Premier Anita Arneville sworn in as Lieutenant Governor. From Municipal Relations, welcome recently elected municipal officials. From the Premier and the Department of Justice, government targets, violent offenders. From Environment, Climate and Parks, flexibility in use of cosmetic pesticides. And from the Premier, Environment, Climate and Parks, waste management or the water management strategy. Canada Manitoba News Release, Early Childhood Educator Tuition Reimbursement Initiative. From Community Futures Parkland, the October 2022 newsletter. The News Digest from Mountain View School Division of October 24th, 2022. The Health Plus newsletter from Prairie Mountain Health, November 2022. From Tree Canada, funding available for planting of trees. Canadian Beverage Container Recycling Association, the 2021 annual report, and Recycle Everywhere congratulates Manitobans. We have a letter from Minister Jeff Wharton regarding waste reduction and recycling support program. From the Auditor General of Manitoba, controlling access rights to information systems. From the Manitoba Public Utility Board, Centra Gas Manitoba rate increase. From our senior election official, our election report. From the Parkland Chamber of Commerce, congratulations on our recent election. And from Parks Canada, also congratulations from Riding Mountain National Park. These are all as recommended by the Mayor and the City Manager. Pardon? So now we'd like to call a vote on that. All those in favor, please.
May I ask a question first?
Certainly, Councillor Bellemare.
Just a quick question for that check from Minister Jeff Wharton. It's just around 40,000. Is that sort of the normal amount that we would receive for that program? Been any changes in that?
Director of Public Works and Operations. Do you have a sense of that one? That was for the roars.
I believe it was right on what we had targeted or planned for the year. Yeah, I think this one was generally, I believe, from discussion with our Director of Finance, the summer report, which was this one, is generally higher than the winter one. So it's not quite 50-50. We do get 2 payments a year, and I believe that it's right on where we budgeted. So yeah.
Okay, just checking in case we got some extra money. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Councillor Stakala?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question on the cosmetic pesticide news release there. I'm not sure if it was gone over that thoroughly, but in quickly scanning it, it looks like it applies to consumers. But I'm just wondering if municipalities are lumped in with that, and if that's going to affect the operations at all, or what we can use for pesticides in the spring, summer.
Is that one sorry, was it the pesticides or was it the herbicides?
Pesticides. There's just some flexibility in the cosmetic pesticides.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. I think we will be kind of reopening the spraying discussion with Dauphin Rec Services as we move forward. I don't see it changing any of our current practices right now. So if any,
from what I understand, that it appears that municipalities can spray on like sidewalks and boulevards again, but things like playgrounds are still not allowed, or playing fields, those kinds of things. So as our Director of Public Works and Operations said, we'll be looking into what next year will look like. It will be different than what we've seen in the past few years, but it will not be exactly what we used to have.
Any other questions or comments from council? Councilor Blemmer?
Just one further, that letter of congratulations from Riding Mountain National Park, that was really nice to get because we're working with them on a couple of issues. So it's nice to see that relationship building continuing. So just thought I'd point that out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None. We'll call it carried. Our next agenda item 6A-1, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for November 14th, 2022 regular Council meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been, I think, the better part of 5 weeks since our last big regular council meeting. So the agenda seems a bit heavy today. There's a lot of filing items and whatnot. That's not necessarily what a regular meeting will look like, but this is the first regular agenda that we've got for this council. One of the things that I will be changing about my reports is in the past I did a report every council meeting. I will be changing to a format just like all of the other senior managers, and that I'll do one report per month. And that will probably still capture everything that I'm doing. And if there is anything that I do need to update council on in between, be assured that I will do that. So in October, I attended several meetings, and we did have, I guess, a change in our usual flow in that there was the election in October. And I'll start by saying, in terms of the election, congratulations to our 2022 to 2026 council. I wanted to recognize everyone who put their name forward to run for mayor and council, as well as everyone who voted. Approximately 44% of the electorate participated, and our deputy city manager has some statistics about how that compares to last year. Our senior election official, Kirk Dawson, did a great job managing this election, and between him and our deputy city manager and her team, I've got some really good reports that the election itself on the day, as well as the advanced polls, were carried out very in an organized way. And by being a part of the 2014 and 2018 election, I do know about the process, so I do commend you, our deputy city manager, for that task. That was great. Also in October, I spent many days preparing for the new council and helping to prepare for the new council to get started. Leading up to the election, I participated along with the other senior managers and led by our deputy city manager to put together the new council information binder. And then after the election, I have started receiving councillor candidate finance forms to review and accept. All registered candidates must complete and submit this form by May 24th, 2023. Failure to do so will result in that council member, either an existing council member losing your seat on council, or an unsuccessful candidate being ineligible to run on the next municipal election. I am sending out reminders to those who have not submitted yet, and I thank those candidates who have submitted their forms. In an update about economic development, we've been working with Vermilion growers on the progress of their greenhouse construction. It has been great to see their progress to date. The leaders with Vermilion growers have shared some information with us about the moving parts to orchestrate getting all of that put together. And just to grow tomatoes, and so that it's been extremely insightful to see to learn some of this information at this stage in the game. We've talked about having a tour of their facility, and they have promised us a tour, but it has to be before they start production, because one of the things I learned is once they start growing plants, the facility becomes biosecure and the general public cannot enter. So that's very interesting. In terms of human resources, I dealt with several issues, which is typical for any month. I also had 7 unplanned days off in October to assist with a family medical situation. So I thank our management team for keeping things running smoothly in Dauphin, and thank council for understanding during my absence. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Charlotte. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'd call for the question. All those in favor of accepting the report submitted by the manager? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Agenda item 6A.2, moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the November 14th, 2022 regular Council meeting from the Deputy City Manager. Any questions from the report submitted by Deputy? Question, Councillor Laughlin?
No, just a quick comment. Just want to say, we said it in our last meeting, but just congratulations on all the great work on the 9 p.m. program. It's very well received around the community. Hopefully people have now obviously gotten into the routine of doing all that at 9 o'clock in the evening. But again, just want to say great work on the 9 o'clock routine.
Thank you, Councillor Laughlin. Yes, we were very happy with the result of that. I think we had really good participation, and our social media analytics showed that our posts, which ran over 21 days, reached 23,000 people, and I think inspired other communities to want to adopt the 9 p.m. routine. So I think it was very positive messaging. There was lots of lively engagement. We gave out 4 prizes in the end for people who participated the most. And I want to thank CKDM and the Herald for really helping us to promote that initiative. So it was very positive. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I call for the question. All those in favor of indicate. Any opposed? Carried. And agenda item 6A.3, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the November 14th, 2022 regular Council meeting from the ICT Manager. Any questions or comments related to that report? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. Opposed? None. Motion is carried. Moving on to agenda item 6.B, .1, moved by Councillor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by Council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. We have 191 check totals, for $1,004,570.06. Several voided checks. Voided checks in the past range and some electronic payments. Any questions or comments regarding the financial accounts? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. Please accept the report. All those in favor indicate. Opposed? None. That motion is carried. Agenda item 6B-2, moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements for the period ending September 30th, 2022, including the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, and the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions or discussions regarding this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? None. Carried. Agenda item 6B-3, moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for September 2022. Question, Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, in that reserve report, there's a gas tax category. And can you just refresh my memory what that money is planned, or what the plans are for that money?
So the federal gas tax is a federal grant that we get. It's intended for infrastructure projects, and we do draw from our gas tax usually every year if we do some capital work, but it is also there for projects that we have upcoming.
Thank you, Charlotte. Is there any other questions or comments? I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None. Call that motion carried. Agenda item 6B-4, moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for September 2022. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Agenda item 6C-1. We don't have a mover or a seconder. So can I get, I'll read the resolution and then we'll call for Councillor Bellemare. Okay, and thank you, Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineer staff report for November 14th regular meeting presented by the building inspector for October of 2022. Question, Councillor Bellemare.
It's just a comment. I was saying I like this report because you see the energy of what's going on in Dauphin with the price tag attached to it. You know, so there's renovations happening. There's the new fourplex that's being built. There's in our new mall, which they're calling Highland Mall because it was Highland Hotel. So Highland Mall, the store and the restaurant that's going in, there's renovations there. So we're just sort of building our community, you know, a few $1 million at a time. It's just great to see.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, then, a call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None. Motion is carried. Agenda item 6D-1. I think this is moved by Councillor Daly. I'm going to have to ask you to print next time, Councillor Daly. Seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for November 14th, 2022 regular meeting submitted by the bylaw enforcement officer for October of 2022. Any questions or comments about this report? Right. Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. No one's opposed. Motion is carried. Agenda item 6E, moved by Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committees. The Intermountain Watershed District, the regular board meeting of September 21st, 2022. Riverside Cemetery, the 2021 financial statements. And from Fort Dauphin Museum, their regular board meeting minutes of October 5th, the manager's report dated November 2nd, the profit and loss budget and actual from January 1st to November 2nd of 2022, and balance sheet from previous year's comparison as of November 2nd, 2022. Any questions, comments on these reports? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. All in favor and no one opposed. I'll call that motion carried. Agenda item 7A, moved by Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information an Association of Manitoba Municipalities member advisory dated October 31st, 2022, indicating that the general municipal election created 8 vacant positions on the AMM Board of Directors, with 1 position being in the Parkland District, that any elected official is eligible to be nominated, and that completed nomination forms must be submitted to the AMM Executive Director, Dennis Volkov, by November 25th, 2022. Is there any discussion or comment on this motion? Just if I can comment, I know that Ron Kosteshin was formerly our Parkland rep or a Parkland rep on this committee. So there is potential, I would imagine, for someone from the Parkland. And so if there's anyone sitting around this table that is so interested, you have the information in front of you. So any other comments or questions regarding this motion? Seeing none, I call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None. I call this motion carried. Agenda item 7B, moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas in April 2022, the province of Manitoba announced assistance for several communities to develop community safety and well-being plans. And whereas the city of Dauphin was one of these selected communities, be it resolved that council accepts as information a news release dated November 2nd, 2022 from the provincial government indicating they engaged the services of Devon Clunas, former chief of the Winnipeg Police Service and former Inspector General of Policing for Ontario government, to lead a collaborative approach in the development and implementation of the Manitoba Public Safety Training Strategy, as well as to provide facilitation and advice for community safety and well-being planning for communities throughout the province. Any comments or questions from any council members on this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None. Motion is carried. Agenda item 8A, moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Stigalo. Whereas the province of Manitoba's mitigation and preparedness program offers financial assistance to municipalities in support of projects that promote disaster preparedness, and whereas under the MPP, municipalities receive 100% of eligible disaster financial assistance costs back for Manitoba and are required to invest a value equal to the deductible into an improved disaster mitigation and preparedness project. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a Manitoba News release dated November 1st, 2022, indicating the approval of the City of Dauphin's MPP application for funding to commission a flood study and implement recommendations from the study that would promote preparedness in Vermilion Park in the event of any future flooding events. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated October 14th, 2022 from Aaron Robbins, Acting Director of Recovery and Mitigation, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, and a Mitigation and Preparedness Program Project Contribution Agreement between the Government of Manitoba and the City of Dauphin for MPP financial assistance to a maximum amount of $70,835.12. Further, be it resolved that Council authorizes the Mitigation and Preparedness Program Contribution Agreement between the Government of Manitoba and the City of Dauphin to be signed and sealed by the Mayor and the City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any comments or discussions regarding this particular motion? Councillor Bellemare?
Just a question for the $70,000. So that would give us the study, and would it go to some of the mitigation as well, or would be so fortunate the 70,000 would do both?
Well, we're hoping that it gives us the study and perhaps some of the recommendations in the study, but we don't know yet. This amount was arrived as it is the deductible for the Disaster Financial Assistance Program. So the final amount, Director of Public Works and Operations, for the cleanup and fix in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We applied for the disaster financial assistance funding and we got the funding. Normally there would be a deductible that we would have to pay. But through the mitigation and preparedness program, we get that deductible back. So that's the $70,000, but it does have to go into mitigation, just like the name of it is, mitigation for that happening again.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding this resolution? If not, all those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. And no one opposed. Motion is carried. Moving to the next agenda item, item 9A, moved by Councillor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the City of Dauphin provides a building incentive that allows a 50% rebate for tipping fees at the city's waste disposal site for demolition waste when an existing residential dwelling is demolished and replaced with a new dwelling of comparable or greater value. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence from Leo Ho, property owner of 1351 Main Street South, requesting a building incentive of a 50% rebate on tipping fees at the city's waste disposal site for the demolition of the structure at 1351 Main Street South, and a memorandum dated October 19th, 2022 from the Economic Development Manager recommending that this request be approved. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the Economic Development Manager's recommendation and approves a 50% rebate on tipping fees at the city's waste disposal site for the demolition of the structure at 1351 Main Street South. Any comments or questions about this motion? Seeing none, I call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda item 9B, moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas according to the City of Dauphin travel and expense policy, all out-of-province travel must receive prior approval by Council. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated November 2nd, 2022 from the fire chief requesting permission to attend the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs Government Relations Week, December 4th to 7th in Ottawa, Ontario. Further, be it resolved that council approves this out of province travel request and authorizes all costs to be borne by the city of Dauphin. Any comments or questions from council about this resolution? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed?
Sorry, just a question. The cost that we're paying for is his travel to and from the city, right? That's the cost?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs pays the rest.
Okay. Just it's at all costs, so.
Okay, call for the question then. Already done. Yep. Also all in favor? Yep. No one opposed. Motion is carried. Agenda item 9C, moved by Councillor Chitikailo, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Whereas the City of Dauphin contracts 911 services from the City of Brandon, and the 911 fee schedule is updated each October for the following year. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information 911 Service Agreement Schedule A and correspondence dated October 26, 2022 from Robert Stewart, Director of Emergency Communications for the City of Brandon Public Safety Communications Center, noting that the 2023 fees have not increased from last year. Further, be it resolved that Council forwards the funding request from the City of Brandon Public Safety Communications Center to the City of Dauphin's 2023 budget deliberations for consideration. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? I see none. Call that motion carried. Agenda item 9D, moved by Councillor Chitikailo, seconded by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated October 21, 2022 from Lori Bremner, Finance Coordinator, Dauphin and District Handyvan Association, requesting financial support from the City of Dauphin in the amount of $10,000 to assist with the licensing of fleet vehicles and rent. Further, be it resolved that Council forwards this funding request from Dauphin and District Handyvan Association to the City of Dauphin's 2023 budget deliberations for consideration. Questions or comments? Any discussion? I see none. Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda item 9E, moved by Councillor Chitikailo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the New Horizons for Seniors program is a federal grants and contributions program that provides funding for projects that make a difference in the lives of seniors and their communities. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a request from Fort Dauphin Museum for a letter supporting FDM's application to the New Horizons for Senior program for funding for a volunteer market drive. Further, be it resolved that Council recognizes that the COVID-19 pandemic has created a shortage of volunteers, supports FDM's initiative to recruit new volunteers, and authorizes a letter supporting FDM's application to the New Horizons for Seniors program for funding for a volunteer market drive. Questions or comments? Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? I see none. Motion is carried. Agenda item 11, moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Chitikailo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the invitations and community event listed below. Invitations from the Legislative Assembly of Manitoba, opening of the 5th session of the 42nd Legislature, November 15th. The Association of Manitoba Cities Caucus meeting, November 21st. The City of Dauphin Employee Appreciation Dinner, December 2nd. And the Manitoba Association of Watersheds Conference, December the 5th. Regarding community events, the Dauphin and District Community Foundation Philanthropist of the Year and the Giving Challenge fundraiser, November 18th, 2022. Any comments or further discussion regarding this agenda item? No, seeing none, I'd call for the question. All in favor, please indicate. Opposed, I see none. Motion is carried. Agenda item 11C, moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Chitikailo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the Councillor's report for the regular Council meeting on November 14th, 2022. So we'll start, since I'm left-handed, we'll start on the left-hand side. Any comments or from Councillor Sobering? Thank you. Councillor Loughlin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not too much to report on. Just a couple meetings, obviously. Attended the council orientation meeting here at City Hall on November the 1st, and on the 7th, we had our inaugural City Council meeting here at City Hall as well. And just want to say, looking forward to the Association of Manitoba Municipalities meeting and conference coming up here next week. So really looking forward to that in Winnipeg. But that does it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Loughlin. Councillor Chitikailo?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Similar to Deputy Mayor Loughlin, I too was in attendance for November 1st council orientation, and then again on the 7th for the swearing in and inaugural meeting that we had here at City Hall. Also for community events, I was able to attend the November 11th Remembrance Day service over at the Credit Union Place, and just wanted to make a note that I saw coming up on November 26th, there will be a Dauphin Christmas Parade of Lights starting at 5:30. So those are always a nice parade to attend and something to look forward to kick off the festival season. So with that, that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Chitikailo. Let's go. Just keep it right here. Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, thank you. On November the 8th, I attended the Dauphin and Area Welcoming Community Coalition, and that's where I learned a new statistic that was really quite striking, that when you look at our current workforce, that just over 70% is Canadian born. So that means the rest of our workforce is foreign born. So it just hit home about how important it is that we welcome immigrants to fill all these job openings that we have. They're the ones that are keeping our hospitals running and our daycares running, and they're also paying taxes for our social programs. So that was an important aha moment in my life. This Friday is the celebration for our local community foundation, so people are welcome to attend. It's 5 to 7. Buy your tickets in advance from Kit here at the City Hall, and there's appetizers and entertainment, and you get to find out who the philanthropist of the year is. And also too, this is the time of the year when the province matches contributions to the community foundation. So we all love free money. So make sure that you consider donating and or going to the celebration on Friday. And I just wanted to put a call out to volunteers, because we had that thing in our package about how the museum is looking for volunteers, and they've got an initiative for seniors, but I mean any age is welcome to volunteer. And Under One Roof too also looks for volunteers. So if there's people they're listening to this that feel they have extra time, certainly consider these opportunities. A big thank you for the election handling. That was the big job, and it went really smoothly. And also thank you to the staff. They put together an orientation binder that was, it was about that thick, and just provided lots of current information about what's happening with City Hall. So I'm sure that for my colleagues that are new, they appreciated the introduction. And even like for myself, I mean, there's just always so much. There were lots of new things for me to learn from that as well. So I thank you for that. And that includes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray?
Yes, on November 7th, I attended the special council meeting here. Also on November 8th, I attended the Reconciliation and Healing Circle at MVSD, which was a very valuable learning experience for myself. And I look forward to our meeting with the RM tomorrow and the upcoming AMM conference next week. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Daly?
Thank you. I also attended the orientation meeting here at City Hall and the swearing-in ceremony on the 7th. I too attended the Remembrance Day services, which was excellent again this year, as always. And again, thanks to everybody here for all of their work and extra work throughout the election, both before and since. And I'm just grateful for all the information they provide and the assistance they provide to us to be better at what we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. Now I'd like to introduce our student representative, Emma Fox. And Emma, if you want to.
So I've been asked to speak a little bit on my involvement in our community, as I'm obviously new here. So I'm a co-chair on the grad committee for the DRCSS. I am the vice president for the Mountain View 4-H Beef and Sheep Club. I'm the North Parkland Area Council representative for Mountain View 4-H. I volunteer at École McNeil here in Dauphin. I'm also a volunteer at the office in the DRCSS. I am the MC or speaking representative for the student body assemblies in our school for our student council, and I'm also the treasurer in our student council. So I'm just going to give a little report on what our student council has been doing. So student council, we just finished with our Remembrance Day service last Thursday, so we are now moving on to Christmas planning. We have a winter clothing drive going on at the school until the 18th of November. We will also be adopting 4 families through the Adopt a Family Foundation, for which we will collect food and gifts to make sure the holidays are enjoyable for everyone. We will also be planning a Christmas assembly to hold before the Christmas break, and our next meeting is November 16th. That concludes my report.
Thanks very much. You have time for school in there? It's we just like to welcome you to the council table, and it's very refreshing to get perspective. I remember, well, I barely remember when I was in high school, but it's a long time ago. And again, welcome aboard. I don't have too much to say other than the first week or so has been very interesting. I'd just like to recognize all the staff for their support. I've been very, very well prepped in regards to what's coming up, and the efficiency that I see here is it's heartening, and so I'm really looking forward to the next little while, getting my feet under me and getting to work with council and figuring out all of the ins and outs and all the different meetings and everything that we'll be involved with, and just looking forward to the next little while. So with all those reports complete, are there any other comments or questions? Sorry, Councillor Sobering, I know we sort of hit you with that right out of the chute there. And then once you heard what is there, I'll give you a second chance if there's anything you wanted to say.
That's okay, Mayor Boziak. I'll tell you, when I get to work, I'll have lots of reports, so it's quite all right. I did attend some of the meetings, and I the ones that were obviously scheduled, but just excited for looking forward to working with the council.
All right, thanks very much, Councillor Sobering. So with that, if there aren't any other comments or questions, call for the question. All to accept all the reports as presented. Thank you. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, call that motion carried. And now, agenda item 12, moved by Councillor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Chitikalo. Be it resolved that council meeting be recessed at 5:51. Questions or comments related to that? All those in favor, call for the question. Opposed? None. Motion is carried.